Induction ceremony here in a minute. When we get done with everybody, we'll come out of here. We'll go into the high school. We'll get everything organized there. Everybody be inducted officially at halftime of the girls' game tonight. So we want you all to stay around for that. Real quick, just about the Hall of Fame, how it's got started. This is the first year that we've had an actual nomination process and voting. And in years past, we've had some good people that's already been inducted. Some are here tonight and we're speaking on other people's behalf. But they were inducted in the Hall of Fame over the course of time. And the principal now, Mr. Jonathan Williams, come up to me with an idea of starting an official Hall of Fame. We've had a Wall of Fame for years, but having an official Hall of Fame. And I thought it was a great idea. That looked really good. And we'll have this year 7 inductees and 1 team. In following years, it's going to be more difficult. We're going to try to limit it down to about 4 per year. So again, I want you to feel pretty special because again, this is the first voting class that you've had. And I can say by looking at, I've already talked to a few people that's been here tonight, and they look at the class and they say, man, this is a really good class of people. And some very good highlights. And I won't talk very long. I'll be in and out. Of course, we've got a ball game over here. We've got a city night going on. So I'll be in and out a little bit. But I want you to feel welcome. And I always want you to think of Edmonson County. You played here. Okay, you're a Wildcat. We have a saying, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. And you're always welcome. We want you back. If there's ever time you want to come to a game, don't feel like you need to pay, you come see me. I've got a lifetime card for you. Okay, we want you here. Okay? The first induction we'll have, I'll just say a few words on this bunch of people. And then after that, the individuals, and any of these people would want to speak, I want you to do that. I want you to feel free. But each individual tonight will be inducted. They may have a person or two that might speak on their behalf. But the first induction will be our team. And that's the 1965 Edmonson County High School baseball team. Record-wise, they had 34 wins and 3 losses. They were the 1965 district champions. They defeated Litchfield 5-2 in the championship game. They were the first district champion baseball team at Edmonson County High School. They were the 1965 Ruff No-Lin Conference champion, and they were the 1965 4th Region runner-up, and they were defeated by the eventual state champion Bowling Green High School. And again, that was what I've heard was a very good team as well. Some of the team members that are here tonight, I would ask you to would please stand. If you're on the 1965 baseball team, please stand. We want to recognize you. Coach is back there. You got a coach? Yep, Coach Van. Coach, I know he was back here. I was going to say. I know Coach Van Meter, I saw him, the Coach Dan King and Coach Caudill Van Meter. I want to give them a round of applause as well. Does anybody from the 1965, y'all want to come up and speak? I want you to feel welcome to do that. I know it's hard maybe in the crowd, but if you feel like speaking, I'd love for you to come up and maybe say a few words if we game thing. Anybody? Somebody break the ice. Come on up, buddy. Come on up.
My name is Woodcock, and I'm speaking on behalf of Steve Meredith. Me and Steve met in 1960. Now this old jacket is 60 years old this December. It's older than most people here. And when I first seen Steve Meredith, we knew he was special. back in the day, the big boys would come up there in Power Rock and play on the weekend sometimes. Adon, Daniel's brothers, older brothers, and Gerald, Adon would be there playing. You might look out there, and they'd pick Steve up and play infield. And he's a great man. I mean, he's just a special ball player. Now, he made 2 mistakes in life. He hit a baseball into a tree down in Auburn. Of course, we was called him out. And another time, he dropped out of college to get married. Back in the day, the eye in the sky, Uncle Sam, when we registered, he was 18 years old. The eye in the sky was looking at us. He got drafted, and so did I, right out of high school. But if we'd have tried, and the young people here that play in sports, do your best. We didn't try as much as we should have. I regret that in high school. We were kind of having a good time. And, you know, if I had it to do all over again, I would try to do better. And that's like Steve Meredith has always been special. We played on 3 high school teams together. I watched him play at Caudill when I was in 7th grade. And he was a good basketball player, outstanding baseball player. Has a lot of football players because it was in our DNA. We walked there before we went. We hitchhiked home here with music. I would have to hitchhike to Big Spring Lord, and I had to walk 3 miles a day every evening. But in my last 2 years, Raymond Vincent, Eddie Vincent's dad, told me to come to Bowling Green. You're there at 4:30. I'll pick you up. We walked there before we went. When I was in the Army, I only weighed 155 pounds. You know, we was all skinny, played ball, hunted in the wintertime, outside people. And if there was a level field anywhere, in Big Spring, Jog, Lindsayville, or Sweden, Brownville, somebody played. Don't see that. Anyway, I just want to say a few words, and not only Steve, but the whole team. You know, especially most people, and still are. We've all been friends for 60 plus years. That makes sense. Good coach, Paige Carnes, get over it. But good. And that's, I'm glad to see everybody. That's a good turnout. And anybody that plays sports, one thing, you've got to have natural ability. And you've got to have that desire to win. I've always been a sore loser. I didn't like to lose. But you have to adapt. Program mad all the time, so and we won a lot of games, and we had some hard workers too. So glad to see everybody. Like I say, Steve here was special. Thank you. You want to say a few words?
Me?
Anybody?
I'm a foreigner. I've been away a while. I get back every month to see my mother, though, in Lindsayville. My name's, well, y'all would know me better if I said I'm Keith Madison's brother. That's how I'm known around these parts. That's a whole different story. I could get off on that for a while. But I'm just tickled to death. Stan called me and told me about this event. He told me about Steve and the other inductees going into the Hall of Fame. I look back on that still and it was like yesterday. It was that much fun. Not only did we win, we had a great time together. And Coach Van Meter, what a special person. I'm telling you, that was just like something that came together at the right time. I'm fortunate enough to still have my mother here. She's 95, still living at home, and I've been with her for the last couple of weeks. She's trying to get me straightened out again. That's a hard job, but keep working on it. So I'm blessed to still have her. Of course, a lot of you know who Keith is. You know my brother. He's here last Friday for something. And I think he's going to be doing something in March he wants me to come up for. I said a few kind words about him, didn't I, John? Yes, sir. I had to grip myself a couple of times. But this baseball team in 1965, I don't know if Edmonson County has had a team like that since. I don't know. But I know one thing, that was a special group of young men. It truly was, with a special coach. Because you don't accomplish something like that without having camaraderie, friendship, people that have each other's back, you know, people that encouraged each other. Coach Van Meter was a wonderful encourager. You know, even when you did something wrong, he'd tell you what you did wrong, and tell you how to fix it and make it right. So I have nothing but great memories. I apologize for not getting to be around and visiting everybody more than I do, but Mom's still special, guys. You know, blood's thicker than water, I guess. But I wanted to just say a few words because so many people don't even know who I am, but they know Keith. And proud to be from Edmonson County. Proud to graduate from Edmonson County High School. And proud to be called friends with still some of these guys that are in here today, and ladies. Thank y'all for letting me get up here and blab for a minute. Thank you.
Steve, you got anything you want to say? You get it done tonight? Come up top. Come on up here for a minute.
Well, I ain't much of a speech maker, but I'm like Tommy there. We have a great bunch of guys playing together. And I know Stan here, he remembers things a whole lot better than I do. But in the district tournament, we did a great job playing together against Litchfield because they were a team that we hardly ever could beat. But I guess I just got lucky to hit the grand slam home run of that tournament. I guess it's somebody up above looking down on me. Because that helped me later on to get to play for the American Legion team in Bowling Green. I know we got beat in the finals of the sub-region 1-0. And I played with some of the great guys in Edmonson County that's here tonight. And I've seen several teams since. We've had some good ball clubs, but I can't say that any of them any better than what we had in '65. But Lemuel Meredith is another one I'd like to recognize. On that season there, Lemuel, our season had a 10-1 record that year. And if I remember, he had 2 or 3 no-hitters. And he is one we need to think of the next time we have a vote with somebody else in. He would be a good one for somebody to recommend. I don't like to leave anybody out, but I'd say half the team could be on this tonight. That's how good we were. Stan and Clinton, Chester, Tommy, but we have a lot to be thankful for. Down through life, the lives we've lived, and the people we have met over the years inspired me to be the man I am today. And I love everyone out today. Because without each other, you have nothing. Friends, the best thing in the world you have, that will stand behind you in time of trouble. And, I thank these men here that's putting this on tonight. Thankful that they remember the people that's represented in this high school in the past.
Wait till you do the speed.
Okay. Well, you go ahead, you go on. Hold up. Hold up.
1965. The high school was over there where the 5th, 6th center is now. And it was down packed, wasn't it, Tommy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Couldn't hardly walk up and down the halls during the class changes. Price of gasoline, Norm, was 31 cents a gallon in '65. That's the national average. Wasn't that much here in Edmonson County, about 28 cents, I think. A lot of good sporting events that year. But I want to say this about Steve Meredith. Just think, 5'7" batting average. That record that we can't, I'm not 100% sure, we just lost 4 games, but we might have won 28, somewhere between 23 and 28. We're not sure about the postseason game. And in that district tournament, 1-0, Litchfield had a good pitcher on the mound. His name was Don Lee. And he might as well has been Don Drysdale out there because he could throw about as hard. And it come up to the 4th inning, and Tommy Madison there hit a single. And Johnny Harry and Jerry Gibson got on. One of them got walked, and the other got on the era. Here comes Steve up there. Well, Don Lee wouldn't have walked him anyway. Basically, he was that kind of a competitor. But they had a wall out there in right field. Right to the side, where that clock is, it went all the way around the center and part of left field. This is true. Steve hit one. It was about that top of that wall, I guess 25 feet, and it was still on the rise. And he hit another one in the regional tournament against a real good Glasgow team. He led our team in home runs, RBIs, batting average, stolen bases. He's about the best fielder too, with a real good arm. Steve Meredith deserves this honor. Kyle, I appreciate the committee that done this. We had a pitcher on that team that I think ought to be considered someday down the road. His name was Legal Meredith. He had 11 wins that year. I still think that might be the record in this high school. That one loss was only one he had in the finals of the region. And he'd already pitched one game that morning. We played Glasgow that morning, and then we had to turn around about an hour and a half, 2 hours later to play Bowling Green. But I'll tell you this about that. We've been in any other region, Tommy. We've been in the state. I believe. Absolutely. Stan Markham was a great pitcher in Bowling Green. They lost one game that year. But guess who beat them? We did in the regular season. They went on and won the state tournament. I got to be pretty good friends with Stan Markham after high school days. And I always remind him, we beat you guys.
Wow, it's hard to follow that. Some things I didn't know, and just to touch base on some things. You know, we're here to honor some very special people. We're not here just to honor athletes. We're here to honor our friends, our family, the things that connect us in this community. And that's why this is such a special night. Other schools have Hall of Fame ceremonies. People come in, shake hands, they tell a few stories and leave. These are people we work with, people we go to school with, people we go to church with, and it just means more. Being from Edmonson County means more. It's home, and it's special. So I'm honored to talk about one special person I got to work with. Around 2006, we were playing, Kevin remembers this, we was playing in Warren East tournament, loaded tournament. We beat them all. That kind of came out of nowhere. And I remember Jamie Carnes brought a little bitty Paige Carnes to that tournament. She sat and watched. It wasn't soon after that we got to start working with her on how to pitch. And if you've ever worked with a pitcher, that's a lot of extra work. You ever worked with a girl's fast pitch pitcher, it's a whole lot more work, because when you pick up a ball, from the time you can stand up and throw it, you throw it like that. From the time you start working with them to get serious about a sport, they kind of know where to throw it. You start with a pitcher, fast pitch, you kind of starting over. So we started that process, and I remember watching her through Little League, and a few years passed, and there she was as a 7th grader on the varsity team. And she worked hard and pitched JV. She got a few innings of varsity as a 7th grader, filled in well. And she just kept coming. There was an upperclassman that was a good pitcher. Paige Carnes kept coming. She kept working. She kept doing the things. And that's what makes people great. There's a lot of people good at stuff. The people that are great embrace the process, embrace the work, and don't try to get out of it. They face it head on. Paige Carnes faced it head on every day and worked. And by the time she was 4 or 5 games as an 8th grader, she was the girl. And I remember when it happened. We were playing Barron County somewhere 6 or 7 games into her 8th grade year. And Barron County was a real good team that year. And I remember talking to Coach Jackson. We decided together, let's go. We handed the ball and said, here you go. And it was that's where Paige Carnes was born on that game, because she striped the corners, we changed speeds. Barron County batters were out before they ever got the ball. And it was good to watch. And that was the first one of those games I got to call when I was calling pitches. Those were special. And that was the first one we got to call more and more and more. But what made Paige better is the nights when things weren't going well. And she still took that ball and got in that circle and found a way to win and found a way to compete. Not only as a pitcher, but as a hitter. She would never fear the moment. Bases loaded, 2 out, bottom inning, give me the bat. She hit some big grand slams, some home runs. I could go over stats. I got a whole pocket full of stats. Thanks to Dad, and Penny, Paige, got a whole lot of stats, but just some that really stick out. She's first or second in all our pitching categories all time with Edmonson County. First or second in all offensive. She was a starting pitcher for 3 All-A championship teams. She took Edmonson County to the only regional final in fast pitch softball. All time in wins, single season strikeout leader. Just phenomenal, her work ethic and what she was able to accomplish. And I was blessed to be able to be a part of that, to be able to coach her. I actually got to coach 3 of these young ladies in softball. So trust me, as Kevin Jackson once said, surround yourself with good people. I did. Got 2 others. Got a brother-in-law that's being honored tonight that I got to play with. Well, I practiced with. He's more playing. I mainly practiced. Chris, he was a year or 2 behind me. Got to play with him, but just honored that Paige asked me to say some things on her behalf. it was an amazing run, and Paige Carnes, welcome to the Edmonson County Athletic Hall of Fame.
Good memories, for sure. Just want to thank everybody for being here tonight to celebrate all of us that have been inducted. I never dreamed I would have this opportunity or any sport. Softball started out as a summer fun sport for me, but then the field became a home away from home. I spent countless hours and late nights with a softball in my hand, and if I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. I can't begin to thank every person that had an influence on my softball career, but I do want to thank a few special people. My brother, Justin, for taking the time to nominate me for the honor, my parents, Jamie and Penny, for the time, money, and miles they put into making sure I had the tools to be successful. Coach Wynn, my favorite pitching coach, and just for always believing in me. Coach Jackson gave me my first varsity start as an 8th grader. And thank you for always believing in me and believing that I could do it. And of course, just all of the teammates I had over the years. I couldn't have done any of this without them being behind me every year. I consider myself very lucky to have the memories that I do to look back on. And I'll always be thankful for Edmonson County. So once a Lady Cat, always Lady Cat.
I forgot to share this. I always tell Paige she was always be my second favorite pitcher. Of course, my daughter's number 1. But my daughter doesn't know this. There's fixing to be some re-rankings. My granddaughter's pitching now, so I think everybody's fixing to slide down one, but I won't tell you that.
Congratulations, Paige, and the 65 team we've already talked about. But Norm, I got into politics not too long ago, and they told me always speak 30 to 45 minutes, you know, when I get up in front of a crowd. So I hope that's not too long tonight, but just keep that in mind. If I go a little long, that's fine.
Who told you that?
You're not going to vote for me, huh? No, it's always a pleasure to come back home to Edmonson County. I spent 25 of the best years of my life right here in this school, and I know how important athletics is to this community. I've seen it firsthand from coaching just about every sport over here, but I spent about 28 years coaching either girls basketball or girls softball. So again, congratulations. And Kyle said it a while ago, I was one of the people that said, hey, this is one of the most outstanding Hall of Fame classes that you'll see. And I'm glad that Kyle and Jonathan got this thing started a couple of years ago. I was honored to be in the first class, but it just keeps on going, and there's a lot of good athletes. But my good friend Coach Woody back here and everybody that has already talked and will talk here in a few minutes, but this is one outstanding group of Hall of Fame members. So I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to talk about my friend Caitlin Simon Caudill. I still want to say Simon, but Caitlin Simon Caudill, who I had the good fortune of coaching for the last 3 years of my career. And that didn't end until 2018, so I wanted to go out on a good note. I'd coached Caitlin's mom and dad, so I knew she was going to be a good athlete. She didn't have any choice but to be a good athlete. But you know, there's more to being a good player than being a good athlete. And Caitlin Simon had what it takes to be a good player. She was coachable. She was a good teammate. All the things that you look at from the coach's standpoint, she had. And I'm very, very thankful that I had a chance to coach her for those last 3 years. You know, as coaches, we say statistics don't lie. If your team's shooting 50% from the free throw line, you're not a very good team, Mary Jo. Yep. You got problems. So statistics don't lie. And in Caitlin's case, her statistics don't lie either. She's the all-time leading scorer in Lady Cat history. 50 years of Lady Cat basketball. Been a lot of good players, and I've coached a lot of them, have come through here in those 50 years. Caitlin Simon is number one, 2,564 points that she scored in her career. Almost 900 rebounds, almost 400 assists, 300 and close to 50 steals. So when I say an all-round player, she was the epitome of an all-round player. And you know the accolades that she got, you know, Player of the Year, and there's another good player, Miss Rich here in just a minute, but Player of the Year in the 3rd region, Courier Journal 3rd team All-State. I think we've had 3 girls in the history of Lady Cat basketball that has made the Courier Journal All-State team. 2 of them are here tonight, and Stephanie Dennison was the other one. So we've had 3 girls in the school's history, and you're fortunate enough tonight to see 2 of them. So I think of that 2018 team that Caitlin and Peyton Martin, and we had 5 seniors on that team. And I'm talking about 5 really, really good kids. They finished 29-5. We played 6 teams that year that was in the girls' state tournament. 6 teams. We played the number 1 team in the state, Mercer County. They went on and won the state tournament. Played the number 4 team, E-Town. But we played 6 teams that was in the state tournament. It was the best schedule. I coached for 30 plus years. It was the best schedule of any team that I have ever coached in 30 years that we played. So when I say Caitlin put up statistics, she put them up against good teams. We didn't play Podunk High and Sisters of the Poor. We played good teams. And, but that was a team that could do that. And I'm so proud of the opportunity again that I had to be a part of her career. Again, as a coach, you look for those kids that do the little things. If your best players are the hardest workers in practice, it makes your job as a coach much, much easier. And Caitlin worked hard. There might have been a time or two she didn't want to work hard, but she did. After I fussed at her a little bit, but she did. I promise you, she did. But again, just thankful to have, and I will say, she went on, she played softball through your, sophomore year? She could have been an all-state softball player. She picked up volleyball, your senior year?
Sophomore.
Well, sometime. Yeah. She picked up volleyball. She could have been an all-state. Anything that she wanted to do, anything she touched, she could have been successful at. She was that type of athlete, and they're few and far between. I did it for 30 plus years, and she was the exception to the rule. Tell a quick story, and then I'll finish and let Caitlin talk. The first time I ever met Caitlin, I had gone to Barron County to coach softball. For 3 years, I was in administration over there trying to get my retirement up a little bit. Those in education know what I'm talking about. So I was trying to get my retirement up a little bit, went over there, was in administration and coached softball. And we came over and played Edmonson County win. You probably remember that game. You want to forget it, but I know you remember it. But anyway, it was back and forth. It was back and forth all night long. Caitlin was in the 8th grade. I didn't really know her. Again, I coached her parents, but I didn't really know her. Didn't know how good an athlete she was. So going into the bottom of the 7th inning, we're up 5-4. Caitlin had already had a double, knocked in 2 runs, a triple, knocked in 2 runs. I mean, I think she had knocked in all the runs, but it was 5-4, runner on second, you baseball players and coaches, runner on second with 1 out. And Caitlin Simon comes to bat. Usually you do not put, Stevie, you wouldn't put the winning run on base, right? You hardly ever would put the winning run on base. Well, I did. I'd already seen what she could do. So I walk Caitlin. She goes to first. You could see steam coming out of her helmet. The ears on her helmet. Steam coming out. She was so mad. But I walked her. She goes to first. They got first and second, 1 out. We get the next 2 outs, and we beat them 5-4. Big win for us. So when the game's over, everybody's gone to the bus, and I come out of the dugout, and I run into Jonathan, and Caitlin, little skinny Caitlin, then's walking beside him, and he introduces me, and I said, well, I think I know who she is now after seeing her tonight. But in Caitlin's way of doing things, she said, Why'd you walk me? Why'd you walk me? I said, well, I'd already seen what you could do 2 or 3 times. You'd already killed us 2 or 3 times. I wasn't going to let you do it again. But she was big and mad, still mad after the game that I had walked her. But it turned out to be the right thing to do. But it also turned out to be an opportunity for me to meet my next good friend and a girl that went on to become the all-time leading scorer in girls basketball here at Edmonson County High School. Couldn't be more proud of Caitlin Simon Caudill.
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to the committee who selected me to be in Edmonson County Athletics Hall of Fame. It truly is an honor to be here today and be a part of this. I was blessed to have success in multiple sports, and I won't name them all, but I wanted to take the time to thank every coach I've had along the way. Just know, without each one of you, I wouldn't have had the career that I had today. Specifically, Coach Jackson, thank you for pushing me to my full potential in the sport that I love the most. Lastly, I want to thank my family, friends, and teammates. Each of you genuinely played a part in me being here. There are many great athletes who have played here, but to be selected into the Hall of Fame with these accomplished inductees, including people that I've played with, is something that is really special. So thank you.
Best I can remember, I'm next. He told me who I was supposed to be behind, and I about halfway remember. It's been a long day. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the changes tonight with Voice game being canceled, the way everything's moved around. I've learned, and Mr. Cassidy back there can agree with me, the higher up you move in education, the more you apologize for things you have no control over. So I want to apologize for that happening tonight. Before I get started, the movie Walk the Line came to my mind just a few minutes ago. There's a line in there where Jerry Lee Lewis looks at Johnny Cash and says, "Nobody follows the killer." Now I have to get up here after Kevin Jackson. But I did get to get up here before Norm Wiggins. So I got that going for me. It's my pleasure tonight to get to stand before you and talk about Chris Meredith. Before I get started on Chris, I look across the room. I want to recognize the other recipients here tonight. I was lucky enough to play with Chris Meredith and Todd Webb. I'll tell a quick story on Todd. I'm a freshman in high school, and I'm 6'2", and I weigh about 130 pounds. And we had some very intense practices. And Gary Meredith had been on him pretty hard, and we were doing a drill, and next thing I know, I'm picking myself up from the field position over there against the bleachers. Todd looked at me and he said, "I'm sorry, but he ain't going to chew my butt like that anymore. He used me away." So Todd was truly a beast on the floor. Congratulations to him. Mr. Woodcock, congratulations to you. There's nobody more deserving than Mr. Woodcock. On top of everything that he did for girls softball here, he has helped generations of kids in his welding program. Congratulations to you, sir. Congratulations to all these young ladies. All three of you, I think I've either hired you or been your principal at some point. That means I've been here a long time, and probably way too long. Congratulations to the 65 baseball team. Congratulations to you guys. And one person that I do want to recognize that has already been recognized, I want to recognize Coach Van Meter back here. Chadell, Jason, thank y'all for bringing him. Love you guys. Thank you all. He not only coached the 65 baseball team, he coached when Chris and I played. And thank you for not wringing our necks at times. Before I get too deep into Chris, I want to say a word about Stevie. Stevie was my basketball coach, my first basketball coach in 5th grade. And I remember my dad telling me when certain people offered me instruction and advice to listen to what they had to say and try to do everything they said, and you were one of those people. So I wanted to recognize you and tell you just how high you've been held in my family's esteem. Thank you. I met Chris in second grade at Rock. I went to first grade at Brownsville, and when I started Rock in the second grade, we met at recess. We had played, down through the years, we played with and against each other in elementary school, in baseball and basketball. I remember in baseball, I remember Chris being a really, really good hitter. He always played shortstop. We never were on the same baseball teams until All-Stars, and he always pitched. Chris was really fast as well, and that played into things. And I am an authority on how fast he was, because I was always slow and he was always fast, and he was always in front of me, and I saw how fast he was. Got to see it every day from second grade to when we were seniors. Chris was just a great all-around athlete growing up. We played Little League All-Star teams together. We played all over everywhere, and we competed with everybody we played. And I think I can speak for Chris. Those are some of our best memories. I stayed back in the 6th grade, and I didn't get to play middle school basketball with him. We played football together, and back then there was no such thing as Little League football here. None of us ever started playing until we were in the 7th grade. I guess most of the guys around my age all played for Tracy, and Tracy Meredith, God rest his soul. And it's amazing to me the number of guys that I went to school with and played around the time before and after me that went on and played college football that really had no experience until the 7th grade. That's always amazed me how that was. Chris stayed back in the 8th grade, and we got to spend 4 years of high school together and got to graduate together, got to be good friends. They're still good friends today. We played all sports together in high school, and some of Chris's accomplishments include in football. In 1985, he made All-South Central. He was the only sophomore named to the Honorable Mention All-State in 1985. He was Receiver of the Year in 1985. He had 31 receptions for 474 yards and 5 touchdowns. In 1987, he was Honorable Mention All-South Central, Receiver of the Year. He had 399 yards receiving on 32 receptions and 6 touchdowns. In basketball, Chris was a starting guard on the 1988 district championship team, and Chris played basketball during a time when there was a really talented group of players from his freshman year to his senior year. We played with a lot of really good players, and we were all about the same size, and they were very skilled. And one thing, I don't even know if Chris knows this, we were on teams that played against teams that won the state championship 3 out of 4 years we were in high school. We played Hopkinsville our freshman year. We played Pulaski County, who won it our sophomore year. And then we played Clay County the summer before they won the state tournament our junior year. The only team we didn't play against was Louisville Ballard and Allen Houston. We got to play against Richie Farmer. That's all kinds of stories we can tell about those trips, but I'll save that for a different time. But in baseball, despite all of Chris's accolades in football and basketball, baseball is a sport where Chris shone the brightest. His baseball accomplishments include making the all-district team in 1986 and 1987. He made the all-region team. But in 1988, his senior year, Chris had one of the most impressive years in Wildcat history. And I wish I could say, although we graduated together, I wish I could have been there to see it, but I turned 19 15 days before the cutoff that year, and I didn't get to play. And Daddy made me get a job, so I didn't get to go to any game. I was working at a golf course all season. But in 1988, he was all-district tournament team. He had 117 strikeouts, which was a school record. 18 strikeout game against Allen County. 11-4 record, 3 no-hitters. Led the team in batting with 361 average, had 12 stolen bases, 20 runs scored. Chris went on to play fall ball at WKU and went on to Lake City Junior College in Florida with an athletic scholarship. And he made some of the cuts with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that is truly impressive in my book, in my estimation. As I've stated earlier, I've known Chris my entire life, just about. I'm happy for Chris and Stevie to be able to do this tonight as a family and see them both, as a father and son, receive this prestigious honor and get to enjoy it together. While Chris was a tremendous athlete, he's just as good a person and man and has dedicated his life to helping others. So if you would, join me in a round of applause for my friend and teammate, Chris Meredith.
I'm not known to be a great speaker or anything like that, but I'd like to take a moment to thank the committee, thank Jamie, Mr. Williams, Kyle for inducting me in this honor. Back when we played, me and Brian played and everything, I think I can speak for him, we didn't even think about awards, and it was just a competition against each other. And you know, I had a lot of great coaches, got me to where I'm at. You know, my dad, you know, probably started me at baseball probably at 5 or 6 years old. You know, I'm fortunate to have his, you know, inherited his athletic ability. And in my baseball, you know, early on, I had Coach Caudill Van Meter, Todd Webb. He helped me a lot in pitching because when I first started playing, I pitched a little bit, but I mainly played shortstop, infield, and it wasn't until like my junior year before I started really pitching a lot and stuff, and I just threw hard. I was wild. A lot of people didn't want to, you know, go up against me and be beat because I'd hit them. Because I remember a time that Brian Browning, he told his dad, Anthony, he said, I'm not batting against him. And Anthony told him, he said, get in there. I hit him. But like I said, we didn't, when we played, you know, that's all we had. We had sport, you know, tobacco and hay, and, you know, Coach Edrich, he was one that he would adjust, you know, our practice in the summer and stuff around everybody, you know, working on the farms and stuff like that. Coach Caudill, Todd Webb, and Don Burton was, you know, a lot of people I looked up to growing up. When I was young, probably 6th, 7th grade, I always wanted to be like Deion Houchins. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember him. He was a shortstop. I mean, played guard basketball, you know, like every year they played at Dill Arena in the regional tournament and stuff. But he was one that I always wanted to try to be like. But Brian don't know a lot. I probably never told him and everything. But the competition that we had is something that drove me to be better athlete. Me and Brian didn't play the same positions, you know, in football. We didn't play the same position in basketball or baseball. I mean, we did pitch, but I always looked at Brian to get better because he was such a great athlete that I knew if I could stay close to being as good as he was, that was going to get me to be better. But like I said, I really appreciate this honor and thank everyone.
I'd like to bring everybody's attention to the TV up here. Next candidate, I think, her first introducing her, she's not at the meeting tonight. So we recorded a short message that he did for us. So hope this works. Keep your fingers crossed and
Okay. I'm sorry, Madison, that I couldn't be here this evening. Got obligations. We got a game, and it's a privilege and an honor that you asked me to speak for you. But there's nobody any more deserving than you than to be in the Edmonson County Hall of Fame. brought you up as an 8th grader. You stepped right in and proved that you were able to play the game that way at that young age. You you developed into a great basketball player, but probably better than anything, you developed into a great person. And it's just a privilege for me to be able to do this. And like I said, I apologize for not being there. But you know, I'm just kind of tied up with a ball game. So you've done a lot of amazing things. You got a D1 scholarship to Austin P. I come down and watch you play down there, and you fit right in, held your own. And then you know, it's just been it's a privilege to know you. I consider you a friend, and you know, I'm always here for you, and you're very deserving of this award. Love you, baby.
Coach Mack, I have to record this for him, and he said, make sure you tell him congratulations, and that I was scared to death, too. You know, Coach Mack, you know. But without further ado, it's Madison Ridgehouse.
Tough start with a little story about Coach Mack, how we kind of started with our relationship. So, Coach Alford was our middle school coach, one of Paige's. And of course, in 8th grade, we started coming up just to scrimmage at least with the high school and everything. And Coach Alford, I don't know what happened, but we were scrimmaging. I'm sure the 8th grade was in a huddle, and then the high schoolers, and I'm sure I smarted off Coach Alford. And he dragged my butt over to Coach Mack, and he said, "You take her. I'm not dealing with her anymore." Coach Mack, "What'd you do?" He said, "All right, I'll take her." And from then on, he took care of me. Thankful for him. I wish he could have been here, but very blessed that he was able to coach me from 8th grade to freshman to sophomore, and then just took care of me then. So thankful to be able to be inducted tonight. I mean, I just can't even say in the words. I never expected this. I love Edmonson County. My husband and I just bought land in Edmonson County and plan to build. I want to raise my kids here when we have kids. I just can't imagine being anywhere else. I'm thankful for the committee for putting me in there and celebrating me and adding me. Thankful for my grandparents and my parents for all the miles they traveled with me. Even with Austin P, they traveled to multiple states. I remember a little swagger wagon. I remember that Paige, a little swagger wagon we got in. We all just hauled in and then took off. Thankful for my parents. Even, I remember my sophomore year was kind of my down year, and I think I maybe had like 8 points in one game. My dad was like, "You got to get this together. This is not." And I was like, oh. But he was on to me and hard on me, and that's what made me a good player. I remember shooting free throws, everything in the backyard. Papa had me set up a goal, and that's what I did all the time. I just sat out there and I shot. I did ball handling and all, but not very good at it. Maybe thought about defense every once in a while, but we know I didn't play that. So, thankful for that. I want to apologize to my husband. He wasn't able to see me in my prime. Sorry, baby. But very thankful for everybody in Edmonson County for giving me this opportunity. And blessed beyond words. Blessed to be able to play with Paige and Caitlin. Both softball and basketball. Like, this is crazy. Like, we both were together. And now look at us. Love you guys, and just thankful for you guys to put me in, be able to be here tonight.
While they're waiting, let me say this word. Lyndon Meredith called me last night, and he wanted me to congratulate Steve Meredith and the rest of the team. He lives in Florida, and he couldn't be here. He told me he loved you, and so thank you. How professional was that little thing went on there, didn't it? If we're all sitting in the same chair as I have been, if you want to stand up, rub your butt, it'll be okay. You know, I grew up over in Allen County, and so we got to know Edmonson County well. We played, and always admired them, played them in a lot of athletics and everything, and always thought they were, you know, love the coach. Now, every once in a while, 26, 27-year-old guys show up, hey, we all had some of those and played there one time. Don't worry about it. I came here, I don't really know what I was looking for, but I brought my wife with me, and I brought him with me. Now, where's Todd? There's Todd right there. It was a pleasure for me to come back to coach, to come to hear the coach. Look at the size. Him and Todd Webb, they're as big as most high school teams, okay? So we're going to get to come back and get some of that done. It seemed like there was something about Edmonson County that always fascinated me. And the same thing with Allen County. You know, wasn't a whole lot of money being floated around anywhere, but there was a whole lot of kindness, a whole lot of dignitary type people that understood what their purpose was in life and trying to do it. And I wanted to come back and be part of that and bring with me. And we came back. And it was the greatest thing to come back and help them. How many people here played for me in Edmonson County right now? I just say two. Is that all? All right. We have. Give me just a second, let me check the room. I was down at Western Bookstore down there, and I saw a coach down there that had a thing that said when he was going through life and picking up players to play for him, he wanted three things in those players. He wanted his players to be agile, mobile, and hostile. Well, I thought that was a little much for high school. We don't want them to be hostile. So I just kind of got thinking about it. If you can have you some good, intelligent athletes, young men in my case, and there's no such thing as a dumb athlete that stays in it, because how many of you can go to class all day, every day, and teachers putting stuff in here, all this kind of stuff, and then you go out there and you got a ball game that night, there's 3,000 people cheering, and the ball's out of bounds, the coach, he says 3, and I know exactly what to do. Can you imagine that? They knew they were smart enough to do that. And if you can ever get a team that learns that, you know, there's nothing like it. I loved it so much and still will today. One thing you young coaches might want to be ready for, if you get into coaching and you got a wife, and I'm promising you this, as you go through it, teams becomes families. And your wife will turn on you with that family. I've got a good example of it. I've got a really good example of it. Be sure I get this right now. Todd Webb was playing for me. Where's Todd? Oh, there he is. How can you not see Todd? Todd was playing for me, and he got a chance to go to Europe to play on one of these teams, you know, the whole world. A great opportunity. So we wanted about to let that go. And we worked out everything we had to. But one thing I wanted to do was get Todd to come and work out with me in the gym. Well, I don't know how many, a couple of weeks at one, a couple of weeks with just other people to help us. And I showed Todd, I need to be able to show you how some of these older European guys play. They'll be much more physical. Now, they won't hit you with their fingers, they'll punch you with their fist or punch you in the eye, but they'll be bigger, they'll be stronger. Well, we went over and we started working out. We're going just fine, and all of a sudden I get floated. It was like you shot me. I knew I broke my arm right there. And I got up, called my wife, and I said, honey, found out you don't have anything to do every walk, you'll come up here. And the only way I knew to say it so she knew what I was saying, I said, Todd just broke my arm. Still believe it is, my wife came up, got old Todd up on his feet, and me on my feet. Before she hung up, she said, I want you to hear this right now. I have told you and told you to quit picking on that little boy. I don't want to hear it anymore. That's true. It's true. She checked me out for picking on that little picking thing. She'll prepare herself she wouldn't do it. But I'm telling you now, if you think the families are not going to get involved in this, it's the greatest thing on earth. I'm telling you this. It's the greatest thing. And you are a family. Everybody in here just about understands that. That's my little boy right there. Can you imagine being I've been on the same thing? We should have had to take another vehicle to get them there. Those two are all this stuff. But we had I always thought athletes had to have a thing about them where they knew or you could teach them right from wrong to some degree. You know, you're not a preacher, but you know, you can help a little bit of it. And that they come on county fair was here. Remember that, Todd? Yeah. Todd remember that. And well, they claim people, a little girl in her 10-year-old maybe, they got younger, and she had won something and he wasn't wanting to give it to her. All of a sudden people come running to me. They said, Coach, you better get down there. Todd, Mr. McCartney guy, was trying to cheat some little girl, and Todd ain't going to have it. Todd's on the loose and we'll fight McCartney. I found him. We got to get out of town. He knew the difference between right and wrong. And he wasn't about to let somebody picked on that little girl because that was the wrong thing to do. And he was going to step in and fight in the entire carnival group. He was one that took the wall, but he was with the ball. I tell you, I've seen him work. I saw him work many times. But that night, that day, when he broke his arm, and my wife said that, I knew right then. I'm laying there, my arm broken, and she blaming me for pushing the car. I didn't hurt me. This is my little boy. It's good, Tracy. It's just nothing right. Now, I became a school superintendent and all that kind of stuff, and that's a good job. I was principal for a while, that's a good job. But this is nothing like that. Nothing like that. And I want to tell the people of Edmonson County, I appreciate so much y'all making us feel at home, making us feel like we were welcome. And I have a lot of friends here, and I hope they keep on that, okay? So thank you. Every one of them ought to be in the Hall of Fame, and I hope they are, okay? But Todd, he's got to be. One of the individual coaches don't forget the players. But there's something about Todd you couldn't if you wanted to. So let me just say that I was allowed to live a dream to come here. But nothing like my home in Allen County to come here and do it. And I would still do it today. If y'all might have noticed there's something wrong with it. Had a little cancer issue here about 10 years ago when I had, well, 11 years ago. We were fighting hand in hand with that for 11 years. Some of that all comes from you all guys, all you guys. We've been fighting what's on the thing and all that kind of stuff. Been fighting for 11 years, and he can't get me yet. They will. But I just want these guys to know that you all know how much I love it here, the people here, how much they've done to me and to my family. And God bless Edmonson County. God bless you. Thank you.
helped me out early on in my life. I'll tell you that.
I didn't know that he got his arm broke until a year ago. We was at Sam's, and him and Angie were there, and me and my wife run into him, and they told that story. And I said, Coach, what did you tell me? I had no idea. I remember the practice, and I remember the collision. And I said, but I wasn't going to tell you. So you kept it a secret. I didn't know it until about a year ago. But I'm thankful for the committee, and thankful for the honor to be in this group of people and look around the room. There's a lot of people, big part of my life, and I'm thankful for my family. My children all got to be here, and my wife, and love them. I'm glad they've been with me through all of it. But Stan, he was elementary. It was a big deal when we was kids growing up. My first grade all the way to 8th grade. And so then Ed Rich was my football coach. And then, he was a big inspiration. But Coach Weaver here, I've told him several times how much I think of him and what an inspiration he's been to me and how big a help he was to me, and his son Shannon, and everybody I played with. And I'm just thankful. I'm not a great speaker, but I'm thankful for everybody that's been a part of it. And as you look back on it, you wish that everybody always wishes you'd done something a little better or tried a little harder, and that comes to my mind a lot, but I wouldn't change anything, and I'm thankful I'm from Edmonson County. I'm like Wynn, I see most of you people from time to time, and, people your family, and people you go to church with, and it's a good group of people. I wouldn't want to raise my family or been anywhere else, and I don't knock anybody for not, but I'm thankful that I'm a part of Edmonson County, and the school system. I make a joke and told my wife several times, I'm 57 years old, and if you think about it, I've been in the school system, and I've had a kid in the school system for 52 years. I deserve a plaque for that. I've got my last one's a senior this year, but I'm thankful that my children went to school here, and I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to have everybody here as my friends, and it's a great honor. Thank you very much.
Right off the backboard.
Crittenden County.
Yeah. But in Crittenden County, I just tore the ring right off the backboard.
I've been told I was athletic director playing basketball. He probably has the record, sure. He had 3 dunks in the district tournament game.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I need to speak again. And I can verify at Crittenden County, I was under the goal when it come down. I was shaking glass out of my hair, and I kept a piece of that glass somewhere, but it's exactly how it happened. It was, he went through the first time, and it tried to give away, but it wasn't going to stand up the second time. Special person I'd like to welcome to the Hall of Fame is James Woody Woodcock. And as I first talked about Paige, how we're all connected and how this is family, I turned my 6th grade daughter over to James Woody Woodcock that coached in softball. And I'll tell this real quick. One of the first practices or two, I said, "What'd you do in practice?" It was raining. Well, we couldn't go on the field. He hit us ground balls in the parking lot. And I was like, okay. She said, he hit them hard as he could, at all of us, and it hurt. And I was like, all right. That told me he was serious about softball. But if you look at he was coach for 17 years, 249 wins. He transitions us from slow pitch to fast pitch softball. First coach in athletics, and here's a big one, to take a female team to a state tournament. Mr. James Woody Woodcock, first coach to do that. District champion 2 years, 4th region champion in 1993, took us to the state tournament, and here's another big thing that will live on. The field we have today that sits right up against a national park that is as beautiful place to play ball as you'll find anywhere. This man made sure happen, because when most of his seasons was spent on the county park, and he fought and dug and begged and made him worked his hind end off to make sure that that's standing there today. And I appreciate all he's done. He got this program up and running, and it continues well today with a great tradition. It's because of this man, Mr. James Woody Woodcock. He's a close friend, a good friend to everyone, and I owe him a great gratitude for taking good care of my daughter when I turned him over. But Mr. Woodcock, welcome to Edmonson County Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm not a speaker, but I'll be able to do. I want to thank the superintendent, the Board of Education, all the boosters, the principal, and everyone for letting me be coach for 17 years. My son, Ronnie Woodcock, helped a lot, was a manager, and my wife also came. It would rain on Sunday. To be able to play on Monday, we had a bilge pump and a battery hooked up. We had some PVC pipe that we run off to get the water off the field. And I don't have any of the players here tonight. I guess they're taking care of their grandbabies or whatever comes along. But I guess the highlight would have been in 1993, the first year we went to state tournament. We finished 7th there. That year we were 31-13. And we were in the 4th region, and had the Greenwoods and whatever. When the regional tournament was going on, before that, Greenwood had beat us like 13-1 in the regular season. So come tournament time, we jumped out on them 14-1, and we finally beat them like 14-13. And then we had to beat Glasgow in the finals. We beat them 7-5. We went to state tournament. We won a game up there. We finished 7th. And then we went back in 1996 and won a game there and finished up 5th. So I want to thank, the parents are here. Thank you for letting me coach your kids. And I want to thank the school system for letting me coach. Thank you very much.
I believe we got everybody correct. Yes. Let's have about a nice round of applause for all our inductees. As Coach said, some of y'all might need to stretch anyway. I will say this about Coach Woodcock. I know from a standpoint when I was coaching football, I never had to worry about the chain. He was a chain man too. Not only coached softball, we did chains for, how long, Coach? How many years?
For what, doing what?
For doing the chains, football chains.
39 years.
39 years. And if you ever noticed, if you had video, when we had the ball, we only had 9 yards to go. They stretched that thing out to about 11.
Only missed 4 games in 39 years.
That's pretty good. So all these people we saw tonight, listened to tonight, not only did they coach their sport, play their sport, but they did multiple things for everybody. And again, I'm much appreciative of all those and their efforts and their families, and allow them to do it. And coaching, I coached 17 years, and I had my wife was great to let me do what I did. And it takes a family to allow you to do those things. And again, I'm proud. I know I heard a few people say it, but I was proud to be a part of Edmonson County High School, and I know these people are too. We're done with the reception part, but I want you to feel free. I know Scott just said we got plenty of food. We're going to go out. It's almost halftime, so we're going to go out in order here's how you're gonna be called out. We'll do the 1965 baseball team, and we'll do every individual that's here. I'll make sure, here's the people I've got. We've seen Stan Alexander, Chester Brooks, Darrell Cassidy, Tommy Madison, Steve Meredith, Clint Skaggs, Coach K. Don Van Meter. Is there any other 65 members I missed? Okay, so that's who will go out first. Paige Carnes will go out after them. Caitlin Simon Caudill, Chris Meredith, Steve, you'll go back out as well. Madison Rich Phelps, Todd Webb, and Coach James Woodcock. That's the order we'll go in. We'll go out of that mid-court. I got you some plaques. One is for you, and you'll get to keep that one. And one we'll hang up hopefully next week as soon as we get back to school. Okay? Thank everybody for coming. Once you're done, feel free to come back over and grab something to eat on the way home. Thank you.